Lucy, just reading through your email here, and lots of good questions. And I'm sorry I didn't get round to replying yesterday. I meant to, but I didn't have enough time. Same old story. So, anyway, I realised I had recorded. Okay, I've done this myself before, and this is the problem with the Zoom settings. So when you set up a Zoom meeting, by default, Brooks tries to save their own bandwidth, not bandwidth, their own storage by default making it save on the local computer. And what I usually do, I don't know if this is something, no doubt, that the university might frown on, but I usually switch that over to in the cloud. Now, what you can do is to go into that computer room and you can check whether it's saved on the local drive. I seem to remember that sometimes it has, sometimes it hasn't. I guess it depends on whether you have closed down the computer, logged out of the computer before it's finished converting the video into the format, into the final format. So if you've logged out beforehand, I think it might then abort the whole process. Whereas if you haven't, then I think it might go through. And the problem you'll face is finding that file. And one way you can do so is to just open up that same Zoom that you used before. So to find it, you might have to go to previous and then just start it again, and then immediately stop it and see where, if you can, what its name, what it's calling the file, and where it's saving it. And maybe you can also, if you can see the name of the file there, you can then search for it if necessary. But I seem to remember that was another problem. But okay, second question is about okay, so a document of things they did well. Okay, when do you give the feedback? Shall I just send individual Word documents to them? So what I do, okay, so the feedback documents are, I think, in the no edit folder here. So down here, formative presentation feedback. What I would do is put a mark on Deb's Excel spreadsheet, on her spreadsheet, and then I personally wouldn't give the students a mark, but maybe a grade if you want to. It's up to you. And I would email them this document shortly before class. That's the way I would handle that. But you could just save those documents in their individual folders. That might be another way of doing it. Week 5, there's a matching phrasal verbs exercise. I've just been showing how I would match these. And the way I would, this is like a little grammatical exercise that I don't think is terribly helpful for them, but it does logically, it does naturally come out of this activity, which I think is quite a good one. The way I set that up is to say that, they're at university and they are now learning to be independent, and this is a way of kind of facilitating that process. Maybe they've never, discussed these sorts of things with people themselves before. And then is the role of the mediator. Yeah. Now, I think you're going to find that there is rather too much of these there are too much of these discussions. So in the past, there was a separate discussion assignment. Now the discussion is part of the listening portfolio. So if we go to the, where are we? Listening portfolio. Those assessment briefs and feedback forms. The brief for the listening portfolio, where are you? Here we are. Has got this section at the end, discussion of your personal response. So it's like an add-on to the listening portfolio entries. And so it is still relevant. And the way I do it is to then have the moderator essentially just listening and judging. At the end, you should see, this is a slide that I've used in the past to link. Okay, so that I wouldn't use actually, because I don't think it's going to work. But what I've done is to then share with you these Google Forms that I use for the students to vote anonymously for the best discussion participant. So that's the way I set it up when they're in groups of 3, then discussing these issues. And you've got them, one person who is essentially just listening and at the end judging who did the better job. And if you go to the teacher folder, I've added these Google Forms, and I've just got week 5 opened up here, which I believe is shared with you. Where is it? Add collaborators. I think you're already there. There we go. And what you can do, you get the class list open if you want to go ahead with this, and then just copy their names. And these are the ones from the old class. So we just, delete all of those. And then just paste in your class there. And then, these existing responses need to be deleted. Okay, and so what happens is that you share with the students this link here. So if you share that, and I can actually put it into this. Okay. So that's the link the students would get, and then the teacher's link is this one. And so, unfortunately, I've just deleted the file where I could show you how it works, but I'll put in the teacher's link. Oops. So, or maybe what I can do is just do it like this. Okay, so what happens is the students then can just they just click here as to who won the debate after each. So this is when they are that moderator. So they are playing the moderator role. That's the way I've done it. But then if you watch that video up here, the moderator has a more active part in the discussion. So I think maybe it needs some adjustment. I don't know. And then, okay, going back to, oh yeah, I was going to show you. So they vote there, and I'll just try and find another one of these to show you. So if we go from last semester, this is the week 6 one. And can you see the responses here? I would then you look at the responses, and this represents the popularity of the different participants in the debates, and I would just share with them, the first 2 or 3 people who were voted. It is possibly demotivating for students who don't get anybody voting for them as the best debater. I don't know. Then, is the role of the mediator to do... Oh, yeah, we've covered that. Week 6, they have their listening portfolio entry 1. Is this formative? So, do we listen in class? Okay, is this listening on slide 27? Okay, I think I've added a slide, so it's probably slide 28 now. No, sorry, I'm glad. I think I will just delete this and put here as an extra listening practice, maybe. So extra listening practice. Okay. That's quite a nice TED talk, which students like, though it is a little bit challenging for them. But the actual listening portfolio brief, okay, if we go back to, here we are, listening portfolio, where is it, brief. Okay, so for entry 2, they're going to do, one of those Pearson topics from the 3rd section. Is that right? And what I would suggest you do is you do it in class. So what you're doing here is giving them the formative listening, which is, though rather strangely, part of their summative, in the sense that they must do it, but it's really progress that you're assessing. It's the final entry that is going to be the one that you're going to concentrate on for the purposes of their final mark. So this is a practice formative one that they must do, and they must submit as part of the final entry. And I would do it in class. So I would choose one of these, maybe in consultation with the students, and then on the day play it in class. So I wouldn't let them know before the class. Play it twice with a 15-minute break in the middle, and then give them 45 minutes to create a 3 to 5 minute selfie. Now, I would let them go out of the classroom to record their selfie in a quiet space. And then after they've done that, they come back and they do the discussion. You may find that some of them say that it's still uploading. So I think you have to be a bit flexible about this 45 minutes, because they have to upload it to YouTube, and they have to get that YouTube link, which may take longer than 45 minutes. And then upload your selfie video to your Brooks YouTube. Yeah, they have to do this, and then they do the discussion afterwards. I hope I've addressed most of your questions there. Anyway, all the best.